Hello everybody, Bubblezest here, and this is Hearts of Iron 4. So, recently I've come to a realisation, and that is, the African Union in the Ethiopian tree is a waste of time. So, let's talk about it, shall we? We're going to do the Second Italo-Ethiopian War, go up to speed 4, and begin! Well, those traitors to the continent have bent the knee to the colonizers. Now it's time for some communism in the military. That would be useful, but I'd rather have the extra stability. We better grab defending our homes next. It isn't much, but 10% extra defense on core territory is invaluable considering the situation. This is the most critical point of the Second Italian-Ethiopian War, because Italy has the 15% extra attack bonus. Once that's gone, we're a lot safer. But for these extra few months, oh, it's going to be fun. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Micro at the best of times, but that isn't the reason why I dislike the African Union. There are other reasons. We could do anti-imperialist agitation, but I'd rather grab the military academy right now. Look, it doesn't make that much of a difference. The thing I fear right now, more than anything, if I'm honest, is a reinforcement meme. I've had those happen so many times, where I've just gotten pushed out of a tile just by having like 40 or 50 points. And I do not want that to happen again. Stuff like that is the main reason why I haven't actually played Ethiopia that much recently. Good, more than 100 political power, let's go for the army defense expert. Again, only 5, but 5% is useful. We're kind of fighting a major with 5 factories. Very nice. We can also now hire ourselves the infantry expert. And since it is May, there's something else we can do. We are going to improve relations with Tanatuva and Mongolia. They should have a tiny bit of lend-lease they can give us. Unfortunately, other countries like Germany, Italy, Austria, Hungary, blah 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 blah, don't actually have any lend-lease to give us. What on earth? Italy just abandoned the front and afar. Well there, we've survived the worst part of the war. Italy should be losing the offensive right about now. Oh well, losing one tile unexpectedly is not too bad. From here, we can now do anti-imperialist agitation. And as usual, we're going to take the top option. It gives us the most attack, gives us a good spirit, no reason not to take it. So, Mongolia and Tanatuva, what do you have? Nothing? I'm sure you have something. Thank you. 21. Woo. Thanks to that brief detour, we can do In the Name of the People without any waiting. Honestly though, the best part about this focus is just the fact that it gives us 5 extra units. They're so helpful. There we go. Of course we're going to assign these extra units to the north. It's the front that needs them. For Haile Selassie, just going to exile him, don't want to lose the stability. And now we have a big choice to make. Whether or not to go anarchist or ask Stalin for help. So which one am I going to go with? Well, it's going to be the anarchist if I'm honest. While there are some differences between the two, the main reason I'm going for the anarchist is honestly peace negotiations. I prefer it over Soviet mediation. The few times I've actually done Soviet mediation, I've seen it where I don't get Alsa, I don't get Eritrea, I don't get Somalia, I just get nothing. So I have this as my preference. But you know, if you want to do the Soviet aid, there isn't much in it, go ahead. Humanitarian aid for 100 political power, of course. Now we're going to go up to war economy as well. Since we now actually have a civ, we can actually buy some steel. Look, it doesn't make that much of a difference if we were building the factory. I'd rather have the 2 extra guns a day. Of course, now we're going to do the People's Army. There's literally no reason not to. Seriously, if you want unlimited manpower, don't do international brigades, do refuge for Spanish exiles. That's much better. Well, when you have literally no consumer good factories, Going for improved working conditions, it's literally free output. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I could literally lose the Southern Front and I wouldn't pay any attention to it, because most of the time I'm just looking so north that I can't see any of my units down here. I guess you could say I trust them. And I do. I really do. While our gun problem is getting solved, I fear Mongolia and Tanatuva will eventually not have any equipment left to give us. So we may as well do scavenging techniques. Hey look, Italy wants to steal the entirety of our country, so it's only fair that we steal a few extra guns, you know. Oh. That's funny. We don't even have an intelligence agency, but we managed to capture a spy. God, how bad of a spy must you be? Rates on the ranks will be our next focus, mostly for the extra XP. Anyway, which general got the traits? Oh, funny enough, it's our field marshal who got scavenger. Anyway, we have 100 XP, so time to choose a doctrine. And surprisingly, we're not going with mass assault. I know we have the boost for it, but mass assault isn't that good in my opinion for Ethiopia. Instead, we're going with Grand Battle Plan. The max entrenchment this gives is very, very useful. And remember, we also have the People's Army, which gives us even more entrenchment. So as Ethiopia, you can properly stack the entrenchment that you have. And if you do it right, Italy will bleed. Anyway, at this point I don't actually have that much more to say. I'm just going to continue down the focus tree until I kick Italy out of Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia. It will save us a bit of time if I do so. So I'll see you back once I've won. In 3, 2, 1... And we're back. As you can see, this has gone very well. Just look at this encirclement and the casualties. Wow. This is why Grand Battle Plan is good for Ethiopia. Italy has hurt during this. You can get even more entrenchment, you know, via things like static warfare. Basically means you don't need to micro. But anyway, as we're about to kick Italy out of the Horn of Africa, we can now finally do peace negotiations. And there we go, look at that final pocket full. How many units in the end? It looks like 10. And flushed. In the end, Italy took 484,000 casualties, but we took only 150,000. Nice. Ah, Italy's trying to naval invade us again. How sad. We could do the port trick, but for Italy it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They've lost. It's over. And victory is ours. Finally. The worst bit about this is the fact that Italy can say no. I've also had that happen far too many times. Anyway. Right now I'm just shifting the balance of power towards the communists so I can expand the Mahal Safari. So what we're going to do is to help that along with state-owned industry. Good, now we can revolutionise this army. Okay, enough distractions. Let's finally go down the focus tree. Starting off with local committees, which gets rid of the Gallant Doctor and replaces it with a committee, an assembly, which actually has some nice traits. Hey look, I'm not going to laugh at 15% defensive core territory. Well. We are now the Anarcho-Communist Union of Africa. What a name. Right, let's quickly make our way down to African Wildfire. There's where the fun truly begins for us. I love this though. Being communist allows us to create a unique intelligence agency with a unique icon. I like that little attention to detail. Well, here we go again with these decisions. Just like last time, we're going to work on Spain first. They don't have that much compliance, so getting it to work should be easy. And then we'll move on to the Allies. But annoyingly though, this doesn't actually count for the achievement this time for Africa. What counts is actually having the faction which Towards African Unity creates. This doesn't count. I don't know why. There's literally zero reason for it. But anyway, we may as well actually create the Organisation of African Unity. To show you just how pointless this relatively is, the goal today is purely to integrate one nation. It doesn't matter what it is, it can be as small as Equatorial Guinea or as big as the Congo. We just need to integrate one nation. And trust me, it will take us a while. And anyway, here we are. The organisation has been founded. And what changes for us? Not much. Although we can actually invite some independent African nations to it. So we may as well. Liberia, do you want to join? Thank you. Anyway, we're not going to do things like mutual defence or the community bank until we're ready. So I'm going to do some other focuses and we'll come back to this when it's time. With all of Spain's colonies unruly, we can now work on the Belgian Congo. Look at that, because Belgium's capitulated, already their resistance is rising. We're just going to give them a little push, you know? Annoyingly, it looks like Spain is managing to contain the resistance spread. Yet again, it's one of those things that didn't happen in my practice games, but the moment I go live, it happens. Oh well. Looks like Rwanda is pretty much ready, so let's arm the resistance. And there they are. Let's see if we can't make them free. Oh well, we tried. Today it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to save scum or anything like that. What I am going to do is spend another 25 political power to invite the commune to the organisation. Welcome. I'm afraid of inviting Burundi. If Rwanda takes it, they'll rise up out of Rwanda and join the Allies. But I'm going to take a chance and hope that nothing bad happens. Let's see if we can't free you. Again, we tried. Oh well, you're welcome to join the organisation. We don't actually have to spend the political power to try and demand their independence. It doesn't matter. But you know, this does add to my starting point that the African Union is kind of pointless, because it's so RNG dependent. There's so much related to it that's just out of the player's control. And I don't think I need to say that things being out of the player's control is kind of annoying. Looking at you, Spain. Well there, Rwanda lost. Hey, there's still a member of the organisation, which is the most important thing. And down goes Burundi. But luckily, same thing. And you know what? May as well do those now. I think I should work on smaller states like British Somaliland instead now. Anyway, looks like it's time to arm the Congo. Luckily, we got enough. Let's hope this time the Congo will be free. Nope, we tried. Oh well, at least you can join us. And there we go. Looks like everyone joined the Defence Pact. And now we can do the Community Bank. And now that the Congo is actually in the organisation, this reveals one of the bigger problems of the African Union. If you don't invite countries into the Union before doing the focuses, you have to spend a lot of political power to get them into extra things. Like, I had to spend 50 political power to get them into the Mutual Defence Agreement. And the same would be true for the African Bank and so on. It's a lot of political power. At least all current members get an invite to the bank. Doesn't mean they all say yes though. Luckily in my game they did, but in your game maybe they won't. But my absolute favourite part of this is being a member gives you no actual benefits. It takes away stab and takes away construction speed. Anyway, let's do the big one, the Executive Council, which at least gives us some stability, but yet again takes away political power. And now, here comes probably the most ridiculous part of this. If countries say yes to joining the Executive Council, they become your puppets. And in the case of the Congo, that pieces them out. Look, they've been swarmed by the Allies, but now they just have to go home. So who actually said no to being my puppet? Oh, Liberia, big surprise. And so did Rwanda. So if I want them to become my puppet, I have to spend 100 political power. Let's see if we can get them second time. There we go. Now you're mine. And at last we can cap this off with the African Union itself. Anyway, British Somalia is now at 60% resistance. So now I can show you just how much political power this actually costs when doing it normally. So it will cost us 25 to invite them. There we go. Another 100 to get them into the bank and the defence agreement. Thank you. Thank you. And it will cost 100 to puppet them. 225 for all of that. At the very least, we save 100 by not demanding British recognition. So I guess that's something. It is funny that we are able to steal countries off like this. I don't really know if this is intended, but I'm not going to complain about free puppets. I mean, who does that? But as you can see, before we did all of those decisions, we had around 400 political power, so we've lost like half of it. And here we are, the African Union. Funnily enough, we've gone back to the original colour of Ethiopia. The red is no more. But since we are now the Union, we get another unique decision: integrating our puppets. It does take away some of our stability instead of political power, so that's something. Look at that, daily autonomy minus 100. So who should we integrate first? I think it's going to be the Congo. Got the most population and most everything else. Look at that, we now have cores on the Congo as well. Here we go. Welcome to the Union. A literal country apart, but they're now ours. We even get some extra factories and units. Although unfortunately we can't delete these, which is kind of annoying. But here's the big problem. While yes, we can now do the integration on all our other puppets, we don't have the political power for it. Look at this, by not doing a focus, at maximum we get 1.82 political power a day. So to get 300 will still take us like 150 days, or even more. How is that worth it? Seriously, it just takes too long. That's my biggest problem with this. The African Union and its decisions are just too expensive. I saw a good post on r/Hoi4 where someone actually calculated how long it would take to integrate all of Africa, assuming the best case scenario. And it turned out, if you went with the communist side of this, it would take you until 1973 to integrate all of Africa. And for the anarchists like we're playing, it would take until the 1980s. The 80s, the era of Reaganism, to finish all of this. I think that sums it up quite well, doesn't it? I'll link that post in the description of this video so you can check it out. It's a good read, it's very well put together, and it sums up most of my problems with the African Union quite well. Because why should I do this when there's better options? Just King of Kings, for example. That's pretty good. Lord of Lords, Elect of God, daily compliance. Just that daily compliance right there makes me want to do that instead. Because I don't have to go through the faff of integrating, puppeting and so on. I can just take Sudan, make a collab or not, and then get them. That's a lot easier. I think I get where Paradox was coming from with this. They didn't want you to get all of Africa, they wanted you to make choices. You have to decide, do I want to integrate Rwanda or do I want to integrate the Congo? I get that, but again, it's too expensive. And to bring it up one more time, this doesn't count for the achievement this time for Africa. And I think that's silly. Why doesn't it? Why does it have to be exclusively in this path? If we had access to the achievement, at the very least I could say, hey, at least there's that. That would be something. But with this, once you get down here, it's just click button. Hope country rises up. Hope AI can't manage garrisons. hope RNG goes your way and the countries say yes to joining the faction and everything. It's just not what I'm looking for in Hoi4. Like, the best part of this was probably the Second Italo-Ethiopian War. And I don't really know if I should be saying that's the best part of this. But for me, today, it was. So, until next time, everybody, I thank you for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. And until we meet again, from me, Bubble Zest, goodbye.